Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Our players are ready to start. All right, wsgRon looks like they're on the play, and they're going to start with this. Ooh, look at this sweet alt art Oni Ronin there.
That
Haven't seen
is.
that very often.
Huh. Where did that come from again? I don't
I
remember.
don't even know. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. That's interesting. Chat can probably tell us, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just do not remember.
And Oldrich going to match things up with a Spite Feeder. So, well, aggro. The only thing that I think is tough for wsgRon in this matchup is Oldrich has a bunch of fodder that they can just throw in the way of all these early attackers.
Right. So I mean, they're just going to be trading left and right. Is that Spore Folk went to the bin? Okay. I mean, what Oldrich
Holy
needs
shit.
is
Yeah, look at
some
that.
fatties.
That's already 10 cards in the void. So quick start with that self mill. Bloodseeker's already turned on. Your Shoal Dredgers are already 2 cost.
That's sweet. So a turn 3 shoulder.
Here comes Thunder Wings though. The flyer will go over. That'll hit for 4. Unfortunately for wsgRon, Oldrich is still at 20, and they've got things turned on the way that they wanted. Here comes a 4/5 Bloodseeker. Another one. So two
Wow.
4/5 Bloodseekers there.
Oh man.
When you're an aggro deck, you don't really
Although,
want your opponent to play a 1-cost 4/5 blocker. I mean, I guess it takes 1 every turn, so there you go.
yeah. So I mean, they are going to be taking 2 per turn. So
Yeah, it's true. Haunting Scream, we can get back Shoulder and get back Dark Purveyor with that. Dark Purveyor with Haunting Scream seems sweet. Down to 14 now.
this just seems pretty precarious, really, for Oldrich. I mean, so they even if they did Haunting Scream, they're going to take another 4
Yeah.
next turn. Down to
Yeah, they kind of need a way to get through damage. You know, I was just saying how nice it was to have all these blockers, which it's working. That strategy is definitely working, except for the fact that now they need to figure out how to push through damage before they just die to their own Bloodseekers. So Haunting Scream, Dark Purveyor has summon, give one of your other units +1, and then that's 7. So it'd give something else +7. But Ron can also just chump block anything. It's not like Oldrich has many flyers here, except for just whatever is Haunting Screamed. Gonna go to the market
so
here and gonna grab Caleb's Persuader, the 3/3
Swader.
weapon. When it attacks, deal 2 to the enemy player. Make a hound.
Yeah, that's just fodder for.
Yeah. When you have 4 or 5 blockers, the 4/4s aren't quite as good.
So I mean, I wonder if WSG Ron would just put the Persuader on the Houndmaster, because then they have Quick Draw, which is bigger than all their
Yeah, you could do that.
units.
You could also throw it on the flyer.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And that's 7. I mean, I like putting on the flyer because I think that's just lethal, right?
Yeah. You're right. You are right.
I don't know if Oldrich has any way to gain. Nothing in here has lifesteal, right?
I don't think so.
You can get back a flyer to chump block, I guess, here with Shadowlands Guide. I don't think that's gonna work.
Mhm.
I think you'd have to get back like a Spite Feeder or Gust Rider or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just gonna be game. That's gonna be 7 attack from the Dragon +2 from the Persuader, and there you go. wsgRon with a
Bam.
quick win.
Bam.
Plus the 2 damage from the Bloodseekers. Yeah, it was more than lethal. All right, well that was quick.
That was very quick. Quick indeed.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was almost like Oldrich did exactly what they wanted to, but then nothing happened. They couldn't actually get any
Right.
damage through. It was like they had the early blockers, they had the self discard, they sort of triggered all their self discard matters cards, but then nothing ended up happening, and a big shoulder edger didn't really do anything there.
Yeah. I mean, I think Houndmaster is just probably too good for that. Like when you have a bunch of small units that you can just pound, I guess.
Yeah.
But
All right, so wsgRon is going to take game number 1. Quick reminder that all of these matches are best of 3. We have 15 players tonight, so a little bit of a small turnout, and that means that we are going to have 5 rounds of Swiss, but then we are going to cut to a top 4, so not a top 8 this time, top 4, because not enough players for that. But I think it'll go kind of quick tonight. You know, Throne is usually a little bit quicker than Expedition. Also, with only 15 players, I think some of those games, we're not going to have as many backup matches, so I have a feeling this is going to be a fairly quick TNE tonight. So get in early and watch this action now.
so Waffle Leader says that the Oni Ronin was one of the ECQ alt arts.
That makes sense. Yeah, must have missed that one. All right, Oldrich on the play this time, starting out with a Darkwater Vines, hitting the ground first. A 1/1 regen, again, good blocker for what Ron is doing. I think the flyer there last game was really key for Ron, being able to get through in the air, because Oldrich had plenty of blockers on the ground, but being able to get that, what's the wings card and be able to just start attacking in the air, Oldrich didn't seem to have any sort of answers for a flying attacker.
Right. I Ooh, Double League Explorer. That's pretty cool.
League Explorer, yep, gonna play that Depth Charge. So Depth Charge
Oh,
says
this
at the end of your turn, if you have no cards in hand, sacrifice it and deal 2. That's pretty good in a mono fire deck when you're just trying to basically empty your hand onto the board. Get sort of an extra free 2 points of damage there. But Oldrich, of course, is going to snap off that block, that trade with the 2/2. Let's see what Oldrich is working with in their market, since we have 2 smugglers in hand. Got Invasive Species, Sinister Rumors, Lethride Dead Drop. Draw 2 cards, take 2 damage for each enemy hit. For each enemy unit, and then Valise, Bear Rider, and a Kroll Zumic Occultist. Nothing that has lifesteal again, though, in there, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
no lifesteal.
All
They
right,
don't have any lifesteal in their deck, do they?
yeah,
I don't
no
think they
lifesteal
do.
in the whole deck. That's interesting. Another copy of League Explorer going to come in. Oh, and look at that onslaught. Now, this does still have regen.
Yeah. Yep.
Thankfully for Oldrich, because that would have been a blowout. Just kill it with your power. All right, but Shoal-Dredger's going to gum up the
36.
ground again. So now WSG Ron, needs to draw something like Thunder of Wings, which, of course, Ron just drew off the top. So nice one there. So Ron is going to be able to exhaust here and play the Thunder of Wings if they choose to. Instead, going to go with Houndmaster and Oni Ronin.
Wow, look at that.
That's interesting to me. After how game 1 went, I feel like if I was in old Ron's seat, I would say I'm just trying to get my Flying Dragon out as early as humanly possible, because
Yeah, right.
it's going to be really hard to get through this 7/6 and this 8/8. So these units aren't really doing much.
Well, they are down to 16 already, so
That's true.
maybe they just want to throw a blocker out there at this point before.
Yeah, I guess they don't take 7. Otherwise, it would have taken 7 last turn from the Shoal-Dredger. All right, this turn here comes now that Ron has blockers back and attack in with the 4/1 dragon, Nightmare Dragon. Oldrich going to go to the market. Has Sinister Rumors. That actually doesn't hit the 4/1 because, again, remember, it's attack
Right.
3 or less, not cost 3 or less. So,
Do they get Valise for a no?
ooh,
They
they're
go
gonna
with
get
Krull. Okay.
Interesting. Okay, Kroll for a Bloodseeker.
I thought perhaps they would um go for Valise at least for the overwhelm damage, but
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Get Valise, get that Overwhelm in. Because Ron's strategy is going to be to chump block here.
yeah.
All right, well, Ron's going to toss it in anyway. Too much early power there for Oldrich. Ron was a little slow out of the gates there.
They had a whole handful of cards though, like
Sure did.
units. Yeah, lifesteal would be nice in old riches, but I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a discard self mill with a lifesteal. So
Yeah. Yep. It's always nice to have one little out in the market. What's the 6 card? The timepiece, the Pale Rider's
oh yeah,
timepiece.
yeah, timepiece.
I always like having one of those outs in there where if you just need to grab some, you can. All right,
Maybe
time for
even
game 3. It looks like Ron is going to be on the play this time. Oldrich keeping a hand of 3 power, Spite Feeder, Spore Folk, Shadow Path Intimidator, and a Shadowlands Guide. So lots of early blockers. Ron, 2 cards, Oni Patrol, 2 copies of Milos, a Fire Etchings, and a D'Angelo Houndmaster. I don't know whose advantage in this. It's interesting because I feel like I want to say advantage Oldrich because they've got a whole bunch of blockers and can really stall up the early game. But we saw in game 1 how Ron just sat on back of a flyer and won that game fairly easily.
right. I mean, I would think you'd pitch it. Ron, I think Ron would pitch this maybe because like you don't have a turn one play. It's not like you're
Yeah,
gonna draw fire.
right. But your power being either colorless or depleted is
Yeah. So
a little
like
awkward.
I don't know. I think I would ship this, but okay.
Yep, looks like Ron is going to ship it back. 3 power,
Yeah.
Torch, Jack, and 2 copies of Houndmaster. That sounds a little better. Still another turn 1 play, but a guaranteed turn 2 play.
But everything is premium, so that makes it better.
That is true. Everything is premium in the hand. Even the alt art sigils. Nice. Painting there for Oldrich. Get that. There. Well, we were wrong. There's some health gain in the
Oh
deck.
yeah, that's right.
we got film paintings.
We got painting.
We're good. We're
Makes all the
good. We got
difference.
film paintings. Don't worry about it. All right, Houndmaster, one of the nice cards in one of the newer sets. 2/1 with quick draw makes a Hound. Very hard to block.
That unit is just so insane. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just crazy.
You basically need to use removal on it because it's almost impossible to block.
Yeah. I mean, it's even more. I think it's more insane in Expedition,
Yeah.
right? But it's insane in both, really. If you can just dump your hand.
Ron also has a Torch in hand. Good old Torch. Once the most powerful card in the game. It's been a little outclassed since then, but just still nice. Just great design, right? Just everything for one power.
God, just remember when it was fast? I mean, that was insane.
All right, so Gust Rider has the Onslaught. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. So Oldrich was able to draw 2 and then discard it. Of course, you're going to discard the Faceless one because you get to play that for free. And then chose to discard a Bloodseeker for the second discard. Interesting holding on to another power here. Oldrich's deck is pretty cheap, but next
Yeah.
turn being able to deploy out 2 threats if needed. You keep that 4th power.
I would have thought that they would keep the Bloodseeker, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm too conservative.
All right, Ron going to attack in. As we mentioned, really hard to block that card. And then you're going to go Merchant. Going to toss. Wow, interesting.
Shugo
How
Standard.
aggressive is that? Tossing in the Thunder of Wings. Tossing in a dragon to get a Shugo Standard. Wow. Ron must have a different plan than I do in this matchup because that's tossing away your flyer for a Shugo Standard. I mean, I guess the Overwhelm really helps too if Oldrich is going to be chump blocking, but I guess the 4/1 flyer is a little less good when you've got Spite Feeder and Gust Rider back there.
Yeah, I mean, it just dies, right?
Right.
It's a 4/1, so. But I mean, Shugo Standard. That what was their other options? Their other options
Other options were the
Caleb's
Caleb's Persuader that we saw
Persuader.
last time. Phoenix Stone. I kind of like Phoenix Stone. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Boar and Lava Burst.
Lava Burst.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Oldrich
Persuader was just
thinking.
so important last time too, like
Yeah.
in the win. Bring Death
So
Watcher.
Oldrich's Void. You've got a bunch of cheap fill your void cards, and then you've got 2 Umbran Death Watchers. Those are 7/7s right now, but obviously Shadowlands Guide can't get those back, so those are stuck there for a little while. Those do hit hard with a Haunting Scream, though. Alright, attacks in. Going to put Ron down to 16. Be able to follow up with either a pair of 2/2s or a Shadowlands Guide and a Bloodseeker. I think Shadowlands Guide and Bloodseeker is probably a little bit better value. I'm instead going to go with the 1 and the 2. Maybe holding Shadowlands Guide for value later on for a different 1-drop.
I guess. I mean, Bloodseeker, that would have been pretty good value, I would think. But
Yeah. And wsgRon attacking in. So lots of attacks by both players. Oldrich going to line up the double block on Milos here. Shugo Standard is not turned on, so nothing that Ron can do about that. Can follow up with a Torch to take care of, finish off the Bloodseeker. But that's a lot of resources to spend to take care of a Bloodseeker. Ooh, here we go. There's a Shoal Dredger.
see, I wonder what the thought process was with the Shugo Standard. Like because they just played it for power. Then I mean, I guess you're just
Yeah.
trying to empty your hand at this point. So maybe
Yeah,
power
just
is
played
the
it.
way to do
Just
it.
ended up playing it for power. That's pretty awkward. All right, now Oldrich is going to play out the Shadowlands Guide. Shadowlands Guide, I guess, is really nice after you Haunting Scream a Shoal Dredger. That might be a little bit
Yeah.
more, but Haunting Scream a Shoal Dredger, then Shadowlands Guide it back is pretty nice. But Oldrich is going to use the value play, get another 4/5 for free there. Yeah, this looks pretty tough for Ron.
Yeah.